Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well and Happy New Year. So in this video I'm going to be talking about my goals for 2021. Huge disclaimer, this is not a New Year's resolutions video. I'm not setting any New Year's resolutions. I feel like there is kind of a difference between kind of setting a goal for yourself and a New Year's resolution. I'm not too keen on the whole idea of New Year's resolutions. I feel like it's just very kind of unrealistic, and I feel like a lot of people feel pressured to set kind of unrealistic goals for themselves, and you feel like you have to change yourself and the whole new year, new me thing. That's not for me. You don't have to change and try and make yourself into somebody else just because it's a new year. You don't need to put pressure on yourself to achieve certain things just because it's a new year. So on that note, this is my video with my goals for 2021, not necessarily resolutions. If it gets to the end of the year and I haven't achieved any of these things, that's okay. You know, I'm not putting pressure on myself. I'm not going to be disappointed in myself. It's just, you know, just a casual kind of, just a few things that I want to achieve in life anyway. So why not just set a little goal for the year. I know that I'm uploading this video quite late into the month. I filmed it right at the start of January, but to cut a long story short, I've had to start again. So yeah, these are some of my goals for 2021. The first thing that I would love to achieve this year is to learn BSL, British Sign Language. I've been learning a little bit from videos online. I think there's only so much that you can learn from a video on YouTube, you know, and from online resources. And I've also heard somebody say that that's not the right way to learn. It's much better to actually do a proper course, and then at the end of that, you know, you have kind of gotten a certificate or something. So my goal for this year is to do a BSL course. I would love to do level 2 by the end of the year. Obviously with the situation at the moment, I don't really think there will be any kind of evening classes that you can actually attend in person. But from the small amount of research that I've done already, I've seen that there are some online courses that you can do, but they're proper courses. It's not just people making YouTube videos and things like that. So you can actually get qualified level 1 or 2 or 3 or onwards. So yeah, so I would love to at least kind of get to level 2 this year. My reason for wanting to learn BSL, it's not because I want to go into a job that I would need to use it in. It's not because I have anyone in the family who is deaf. I am not deaf. I am a hearing person. I read a statistic recently, and I'm just finding it because I can't remember exactly what it is. This statistic really drove me to want to learn. There are 11 million people in the UK who are deaf or hard of hearing. Less than 10% of the population know British Sign Language. So I would love to be able to learn some more BSL, to maybe be able to help deaf or hard of hearing or non-verbal people to feel a little bit less isolated, and just to be able to communicate with some more people. I actually work with somebody who is deaf, and I just wish that I could have more of a fluent conversation with them rather than just, how are you? Nice to meet you. You know, I would love to be able to be a little bit more fluent in it and be able to have a proper conversation with somebody. In my old job, there were quite a few occasions where people would come in who were deaf and they would have somebody with them who was signing. I just thought to myself, I wish I knew BSL. I wish that I could communicate with this person. And so yeah, so I've always wanted to learn it. So that's a goal that I've set myself for this year. We'll see how it goes. I probably will continue to kind of learn a few bits online, but I would love to do a proper course and be able to actually use BSL properly. And then, you know, you never know in life when it's going to come in handy, and one day, hopefully one day in the future, if I do need to speak to somebody who signs, then hopefully I can actually have a conversation with them and communicate with them, and, you know, just help people to feel a little bit less isolated. And like I say, you never know when it's going to come in useful. My second goal for this year is to read 5 books. Now you're probably thinking, that's nothing, 5 books, like that's easy. I don't read, okay? I've never really been one to read books. I'm just not really a great reader. It's not so much that I have any issues with kind of literacy skills. It's not that I don't have the ability to read, but I think a lot of it is due to not really having much of an attention span. So most of the time I'll start a book and I'll get bored. I either won't come back to it, or to be honest, I find books really difficult to follow. So I've never really been one to read a book. If anybody ever asked me, do you ever read? I would say no, I don't read books ever. That said, there has been the odd occasion over the years when I have actually got really into a book. It doesn't happen very often. And to be honest, I have no shame in admitting that the kind of book that I need to read is a really easy reading kind of book. And usually the books that grip me the most are ones that are kind of written for, kind of directed at kind of teenage kind of age, or like young adult kind of books. So I don't have any shame in admitting that. It's just they seem to be written in a way that I can follow a lot better. Actually, a few years ago, back in 2017, I bought myself 2 books and I was glued to them, and that was so strange for me. It was like a whole different world. To people who are actually bookworms, you're probably thinking, what's wrong with this weirdo? But it's just never really happened to me. I've never really been somebody that gets glued to a book. And I read 2 books in 1 year a few years ago, and those books were The Square Root of Summer by Harriet Ruter Hapgood. And literally, I mean, you can see the corners are all messed up because I took this everywhere with me. I couldn't put it down. Every opportunity I had to get the book out and read it, I would. So I read that through the summer in 2017. I took it to Spain with me. It was a really good book. I'd really recommend it. The other one that I read was Everything Everything. Oh, you can't really see it, sorry. Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. This book was really good for me because the chapters are really short. They're like a couple of pages long for one chapter. And that's the kind of book that I can get on board with. So that kind of reiterates the fact that it probably is due to attention span. Sorry, I know I'm looking in the viewfinder. It's because my camera only records like 12 minutes at a time and we're on 11:15, so that's why I keep looking in the viewfinder. So kind of thinking about my goal to read a little bit more this year, I thought back to books that I have read and really enjoyed. And I thought about those 2 books, so I went on to Waterstones and I looked up those 2 authors, and I bought myself 2 more books from these 2 authors. So I bought another book by Harriet Ruter Hapgood, and this one I've been really into the past few weeks. It's How to Be Luminous. It's a book that's really gripping me. I'm not losing concentration. You know, it's quite a fairly easy read. I can kind of get on board with it. It's not too complicated, and I'm really enjoying the storyline. About a girl whose mother has gone missing and she's lost all her colours, and she only now sees in monochrome. She can't see any colours. She is an artist. You know, imagine for an artist to lose all their colours. I suppose the only way that I can kind of relate to that is as a musician, if I lost my hearing, but actually people who are deaf or hard of hearing actually have ways to still enjoy music. They feel the vibrations and things. So but you know, if somehow music was taken away from me and I couldn't hear music, rather than, you know, not being able to see colours. But yeah, I've got this far already. I'm really enjoying it. And I bought another book by Nicola Yoon, who was the writer of Everything Everything, and it's called The Sun Is Also a Star. And I kind of had a bit of a flick through it, and again, they're in really short chapters, and that's the kind of book that I can get on board with. Yeah, so my goal for this year is to read 5 books. Again, I know 5 is not a lot of books, especially if you're somebody that does read a lot of books, but for me, I mean, anybody that knows me would be like, oh, 5 books in a year, you're gonna manage that. So yeah, that's my second goal for the year. I want to read a few more books. I hope I can do it, fingers crossed. Okay, my third goal for the year is to completely declutter. I have a real problem with I'm a really messy person, and it's just, you know, it's not relaxing living amongst clutter and mess. So I think this is probably the most important one to me. By the end of the year, I really want to have completely decluttered my bedroom. I really want to kind of like do my room out this year anyway. I want to paint the walls, I want to get a new bed, you know, things like that. So, but before I can do that, I need to clean out all the mess. So I need to kind of get a plan in action, and I need to think about storage solutions. I need to think about being stricter on throwing stuff away that I don't think I need, and stop buying things that take up space. And then, you know, once there's less clutter, then I can actually get on to kind of doing out my room as I want to. So by the end of this year, I want to be completely decluttered. I'm going to kind of put a plan in action and kind of set myself small goals, because I think what's happened is everything is so messy that it seems like too big a thing, and that's why I kind of just shut the door on it. Actually, what I think I need to do, instead of being like, there's just one big mess and I can't deal with it, I need to instead set myself small goals. So on this day I will clear the floor space, and then on this day I will dust and sort out the shelves and the desks, and then on this date then I can sort out the clothes, and you know, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to set myself a goal, like small goals, and hopefully by the end of this year I will be decluttered. My fourth goal for this year is to be a little bit more mindful, and I know this is going to sound really cliche, I just want to look after my brain a lot more, and I want to spend this year giving more time to myself and looking after my mind and my kind of mental and emotional well-being a little bit more. And that even includes really small things like setting aside a few minutes a day to just take some deep breaths and, you know, focus on my breathing, focus on my body, what's going on, and kind of check in with myself. And also, you know, spending a lot less time on screens and spending less time on social media, because I do think, you know, I do think it really does have an impact, certainly, on our minds, on our emotional and mental well-being, the amount of time that we spend on social media and on screens. So I really want to try, and this is going to be a difficult one for me because I am a typical millennial who's just addicted to social media and to my phone, but I really want to just spend more time away from screens and away from social media. Yeah, so that's one of my goals for this year. I've actually started, I got this journal from W.H. Smith, and it's a book that has prompts in it, so it's not just a notebook. So the first section is writing down 3 things that you're grateful for that day, and honestly I think that is so important, honestly, especially during these really hard times that we're all living in. Just kind of checking in at the end of the day and thinking about 3 things that you're thankful for and grateful for. I didn't realise actually how much of a positive impact that would have. It's really helping to kind of keep me thankful and grateful for what I do have, rather than focusing on what I don't have, and focusing on the good things rather than everything that's going wrong at the moment. Because I think we can all relate to kind of, with the time that we're living in, getting really negative and just thinking about all the negative things and all the bad things. You know, we've got constant news alerts of the terrible things that are happening, and honestly it's made more of an impact than I thought it would, just writing down 3 things that I'm thankful for every day. So the next section in this book is kind of a reflection on the day. So you write today's triumph, big or small, today's challenge and how I overcame it, a memory for the day, which is good because you can kind of look back and think about all the good things that have happened throughout the day, I don't know, or like funny things that you want to remember, ideas to explore, and how I was feeling, so you can kind of check in, so happy or sad, energetic or tired, positive, negative, calm or tense, confident or uncertain, or bored or inspired. And there's kind of like a spectrum, so you can kind of, you know, track how you've been doing. There's a section for goals, so my goal, why I want to achieve it, when do I want to achieve it, by how am I going to achieve it, my reward for achieving this goal. And I think setting goals is an okay thing to do as long as you just don't put too much pressure on yourself. And then finally at the end there's a section for just reflecting on the whole week, so this week's reflections and also this week's words to live by. So yeah, so I have already been reflecting a lot more so far this year, and that's something that I just want to do a lot more of throughout the year. I just think it's really good to kind of check in with yourself, to reflect on the day. My last goal for this year is just that I want to put a lot more effort into this YouTube channel. I first started making videos years ago, and you can actually find some of my really old videos on my old channel if you manage to find it. I'm not going to link it because it's just cringy. That said, I know most of the videos on this channel are probably a little bit cringy, and I'm going to look back and have an absolute cringe fest sometime, but I just want to start putting a lot more effort into this channel. I really enjoy making YouTube videos, whether it's vlogs or sit down videos like this. You know, it's something that I've kind of left for ages and then come back to, and I just want to put a lot more effort into it this year. I really want to work on improving the quality of my videos, the quality of my content, and you know, and just generally put a lot more effort into it. You know, it's something that I enjoy doing, so why not do a little bit more of it, and hopefully maybe gain a few more subscribers, because I don't really have any, so I don't really know who I'm talking to, but like I say, I just do this as a little bit of fun. You know, I'm not expecting to make a career out of these awful videos that I'm making, but you know, I just find it a little bit of fun, so I definitely want to put a lot more effort into this channel this year. So hopefully throughout 2021 we'll be seeing a lot more of each other. My last goal for this year, I know on the last one I said my last one, but I forgot about this, so this is the last one. My last goal for this year regarding my Etsy shop, so I'll link it in the description, just a little bit of a plug there, shameless self promo. But I have an Etsy shop where I make various handmade goods. It started off, actually, I was just making bracelets when I first started it. I used to make macrame bracelets, and I started selling them on an Etsy shop, but the proceeds were going towards a charity, so I used to change the charity every 3 months. What I'm doing at the moment, because of the crisis that we're in, is I'm using the proceeds to go towards PPE for a local care home. As most of you may have realised, and hopefully have, care homes during this crisis really are the forgotten front line. I'm in no way diminishing what NHS and hospital workers are going through at all, but I also think that care homes are being forgotten. They especially were at the beginning. It's getting a little bit better, but so I wanted to try and do something to help during this the crisis that we're in at the moment. So at the moment, proceeds from sales on my Etsy shop are going towards PPE for a local care home. I have a list of 10 care homes nearby, and one of those will be randomly selected once I have a sufficient amount of funds from my Etsy shop. Originally I was sending 100% of proceeds, but now that I've started sewing things and making jewellery, I'm obviously having to spend a fair amount of money on supplies and materials, so now it's 50%. We have actually already raised some money to give a batch of PPE to a local care home already. So earlier last year, in 2020, I actually gave a box of PPE, so it was masks, gloves, aprons, and face shields, and that's something that I want to keep on doing. So it's time now to move on to the next care home. We've raised some money, but PPE is very expensive, so we've got a little bit of a way to go before the next batch of PPE is given out. But my goal is to provide at least 3 more care homes this year with a batch of PPE from the proceeds from the things that I sell on my Etsy shop. So things that I make include key rings, lavender bags, earrings. There's various things on there, so feel free to check it out. Obviously remember, anything that you buy, 50% of proceeds will go to PPE for a local care home. I was scratching my back as I said that, so I'm really sorry. But I'm not going to cut it out, I'm just going to keep it in. So I'd really love it if you can check that out. So yeah, that is definitely one of my goals for this year. I want to keep working really hard at that, and hopefully be able to provide at least 3 more care homes with a batch of PPE to help protect our forgotten frontline during the coronavirus crisis. Okay, so those are my goals for the year ahead. I know they're only little things, but you know, sometimes I think the small things can kind of add up and make a difference. So those are the things that I would love to achieve this year. I'll probably check back on this video at the end of 2021 and see how I did. Like I said, I'm not putting pressure on myself. If you don't achieve your goals by a certain time frame, it doesn't matter, it's okay. You don't have to put pressure on yourself to change and be this different person. It would just be interesting to check back and see how I did, but like I say, I'm not gonna get upset if I don't achieve everything. But yeah, those are some things that I wanted to achieve this year. Let me know down in the comments what are some of your goals for the year. Do you set New Year's resolutions? Do you set yourself goals? Or do you just, you know, float on by and just take each day as it comes? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to click subscribe for more videos like this, and don't forget to give me a huge thumbs up because it helps me out a lot, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and stay safe. Bye!